So in the module 1 and 2, we have seen the basic set operations. Then we have moved on to the relations. Then we have seen various operations on relations and the how to draw those relations and what is meant by lattice and these kind of things we have seen in the module 1 and 2. In the module 3, we are going to come across the functions and recursions. See, the functions and recursions are very, very important concepts in the programming also, and how these functions and recursions can be represented mathematically, that we are going to see in this module 3. As part of this module 3, we are going to see the concepts such as relations versus functions, in which situation we will call a particular given set of pairs or pair of values or elements are said to be relations, and what are the pair of relations elements are said to be functions, and type of functions, composition of functions, induction. This is the mathematical induction that you might have studied in your school days. Mathematical induction, recursively defining functions, cardinality, modeling using recursion relation, solution of recurrence, that is solution of recurrence relation, linear recurrence relation with a constant coefficient. So these are the concepts we will see under this module. See, without having the knowledge of this mathematical functions and the definition of the mathematical functions, you might have studied or you might have done the programming with functions in your previous semester. That is, in C programming, you might have done the functions concept. Okay, so that is function will be having like a data type, or we can say return type, function name, and the function will take some parameters and will do some computation and will return a value. This we have seen in the previous semester. In C programming, you might have done this. At the same time, you might have also done the recursive functions, like a simple factorial program, Fibonacci series, or maybe the GCD of a given two elements. These are the things you can make it as a recursive functions. This recursive function is nothing but calling a function by itself till an exit condition is reached. This is called recursion. These functions you might have already used as part of the C programming in the last semester. So you can also recall those concepts, that is programming concepts, when I am discussing these functions in mathematical way. Okay, so it will be easy for you to map. Okay, what is meant by function and what is meant by that is what is meant by function in these discrete structures and what is the programming function that you are doing. So first of all, we'll see in this lecture relation versus functions, type of functions, composition of functions. These three concepts we will see in this lecture. What is the difference between the relation and function? Function is also a relation type. Okay. Function is a relation in which every input has exactly one output. Okay. In relation, you may be having the one-to-many relation, one-to-one relation, okay, many-to-one relation, these kind of things. While coming to the function is also a kind of relation only, but a condition is there. What is the condition? In which every input has exactly one output. So how to determine whether a given relation is a function or not? So you are supposed to remember these 2 points to classify between the relation and function. So for a given relation R, if a set of ordered pairs has different x coordinates, then it is a function. That means you have given a relation in which ordered pairs are there, xy, 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 like that. If the set of ordered pairs has different x coordinates, okay, if I have written like ordered pairs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay, so you are supposed to look at the x coordinates. So these x coordinates are also said to be what? Domains. Y coordinates are said to be ranges. So you should have different domain elements there. Then we can say that relation is a function. If a set of ordered pairs has same x coordinate, then it is not a function. You should have different x coordinates, then only it is said to be function. Y coordinates have no bearing in determining the function. So here we are not focusing on y coordinate in the case of functions. Okay, y coordinate is having no bearing in the defining of functions. Only we will focus on the x coordinates. Let, for example, 0 comma minus 5, 1 comma minus 4, 2 comma minus 3, 3 comma minus 2, 4 comma minus 1, 5 comma 0. So this is the relation in which you look at the x coordinates. This is also a relation as well as it is a, is it a function? So look at the x coordinates 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So different x coordinates are there. Okay, hence it is function. So this is in this relation. Okay, is it a relation? Obviously it is a relation and also a function. Look only to the x coordinates. While coming to the y coordinates, while coming to the another example, minus 1 comma minus 7, 1 comma 0, 2 comma minus 3, 0 minus 8, 0 comma 5, minus 2 comma minus 1. Is it a function or relation? It is a relation, but not function. The reason is 0 has appeared 2 times in the x section. So that is the reason it is not a function. So now we will mathematically define the function. Having understand this, given any set a comma b, a function f from, that means our mapping a to b, that is what the meaning, is an assignment of exactly one element, that is f of x belongs to b, to each element x belongs to a. It is just like if I have given you two sets like this, year and population. So I can make a draw like in this year this is the population count, this year this is the population count, like that I can make a thing. So here the years are the x coordinate we can make, and the population count is the y coordinate you can make. So the function f of x can be defined as f of x to some mapping to the other set, that is population here. Okay, so in this way we can map it, that is f of x belongs to b, to each element x belongs to a. That is, if you have given a year, then it will be mapping to the corresponding population count, just like that. And formally we can define this function in several ways. Here are the definitions given, and in this some notations you can remember. If you forgotten, you can recall, like the symbol over here in the first definition, x is a function. X is a function, that is here not, okay, this e in the reverse form if you write that is said to be there exists x comma y, x is equal to y, and if you write the v symbol up and down, then it is said to be logical or operator. And if you write a symbol called v kind of thing, then it is said to be logical and operator, and a v and a strike off like that. If you write, it is for all. Okay, so x is equal to y, logical and f of x not equal to f of y, or x is a function for all x comma y not of x is equal to y. That means x and y value should not match. Okay, x is equal to y, logical or not of f of x not equal to f of y, or That means these are the several ways of defining the function. X is a function for all x comma y, not x is equal to y, logical or f of x is equal to f of y. X is a function for all x comma y, where x is equal to y, which is mapping to f of x is equal to f of y. Or another function, another definition for the function, x is a function for all x comma y, f of x not equal to f of y for all x not equal to y. Okay, so these are the functions definitions that was given here. So the graphical representation with which you can easily come to know graphical representation, if you look at like a Venn diagram, if you take the set A and B, the function will map from by giving the input element A, small a, which belongs to capital A, to small b belongs to capital B. And if you want to represent as a graph A, B, so you keep the elements. So let us say, for example, A, years, and B, population count. Okay, so just you can map it. And if you want to plot it, then on the x-axis you can make the years, and in y-axis you can make the population count. Okay, there it may be a linear growth or it may be an exponential growth, that is depending upon the graph that you get. Some terminologies in the function here. If the function f, that is a to b, and f of a is equal to b, where a belongs to capital A and b belongs to capital B, then a is the domain of f. So as I told you, x, y means x is said to be the domain and y is said to be codomain. Okay, so codomain means all possible outputs that will be there, all possible outputs that can be written. So small b is the image of A under F. Okay, A is the pre-image of B under F. So these are the various terminologies that we'll use in the function. In general, B may have more than one pre-image. Okay, B may have more than one pre-image means, so multiple inputs may give you to lead to one single output. Okay, that means with one single input, with one input you may not get the same B. With some other inputs also you may get B. So this is what the meaning of this. The range R belongs R subset, R is the subset of B of function f is B, where there exists A, f of A is equal to B. So here B part is called as the range. Okay, whenever this particular thing is given. So these are the terminologies that are to be used and that are to be learned, and these terminologies you will get in our lectures also, the next lectures. So here is some example pictorially was given. F of A is equal to Z. So f of A is equal to Z means here, if you look at under A, so there are the elements A, B, C, D. So f of A to Z. So now Z is said to be the image. Okay, Z is said to be the image. So the image of D is Z. So the image of A is also Z. Okay, and also image of C is also Z. Okay, because f of C is equal to Z. The domain of A is equal to A, B, C, D. This is the domain. The codomain of the codomain is B. That means all possible outputs here, X, Y, Z. So here all possible inputs, that is domain elements, are mapped to Y and Z here. But in B, what are the possible outputs are there? X, Y, and Z. So we can call it as codomain. Codomain is B is equal to X comma Y comma Z. the range of f is y comma z. So the range means how many possible outputs it was mapped to. Even though x, y, z are there, only the elements of A were mapped to y and z only. So now it is y and z will become the range. But the codomain means all possible outputs. Okay, that is to be the codomain. The pre-image of y is b because f of b is equal to y. So b is the pre-image of y. The pre-image of z are a comma c and d. So f of c comma d is equal to z. That means you have to treat it as individually. F of c is equal to z and f of d is equal to z. So we can't. We should take like that. So because we are going to mention what are the possible inputs that will be supplied. So for each input, what could be the possible output in the set B. I hope by this time you understood how the mapping will be done, and domain, range, codomain, pre-image, and image. These are the concepts. So here is a pizza example is there. So there exists a pizza parlor which charges $5 for a large pizza with no topping. That they charge an additional $1.50 for each of their 5 specialty toppings. Tax is included in the price. Find the domain and range of the function. So with no topping, let will say 0, means it's a plain one. Toppings, there are 5 levels of toppings will be there. Okay, 5 types of, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That can be included as domain. And range for whenever the level of topping increases, $1.5 increases. So for 0 topping, they are charging $5, and for every 1 topping increment, $1.50 will be added. Okay, it's a linear scale, right? It is a linear scale. It's a linearly growing. So price is equal to f of toppings. So how many toppings you require is equal to 5 plus toppings into 1.5. This is the function. So you can write a C program like this: int float f of int toppings. Then you can write this return 5 plus toppings into 1.5. Clear? So toppings is equal to 0 to 5. So you can write the corresponding price over there. So now here domain will become 0 to 5 and range will become 5 to 12.5. Clear? Now we'll see one more example. Suppose that f is a function mapping students in this class to the set of grades. So choose whatever the grade you want: A grade, B grade, C, D, and E. Okay. At this point, you know f's codomain is, what is the codomain? What is the codomain? All possible grades. All possible grades are codomain. Whether you make it A grade or B grade, but all possible grades are there here, A to E. Okay, and its range is what all the students got. Okay, so I think if there is no failure in this class, then E will not come. Okay, if there is no failure, obviously E will not come. Okay, and all the students have performed very well, then you may get A and B only. Okay, just like that. So here codomain is A, B, C, D, E, and its range is unknown. Currently you have not passed this course, so it is unknown. So once you clear this course, obviously you can come to know what is the range. Suppose that grade turns out all A's and B's, then the range is AB. Okay, now you have written the exam and you have cleared, and many students got A and B only. Then A and B is the range, but its codomain is will change. The codomain will change. No, the same codomain will exist. That is A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so now you got the difference between the codomain and range. Now we'll see the one-to-one functions. See, these are the classification of the functions that we study. Okay, functions we have seen mapping from A to B, like that we have seen. Now we'll see the one-to-one functions. A function is one-to-one or injective or injection. These are the terminologies that we'll use for the one-to-one function. If and only if every element of its range has only one pre-image. Okay, only one pre-image must be there, then only it is said to be thing. Only one element of a domain is mapped to any given one element of the range. Domain and range have the same cardinality. What about codomain? Here, a function is one-to-one or injective or injection if and only if every element of its range has only one pre-image. Okay, that is exactly 1-to-1 mapping. Only one element of the domain is mapped to any given one element of the range. Any given one element of the range. Okay. Now domain and range have the same cardinality. Then what about codomain? Codomain may not be having the same cardinality as the range. Codomain means all possible outputs, but to which you map, that is up to the function. Clear? Okay. Let will make it clear with the okay, this is the mathematical definition as we have seen previously, same thing. Here in the on the function definition, we will keep one restriction that only one-to-one mapping must be there. Okay, and the same all the definitions are same with only condition that one-to-one mapping should be there. Let will see the graphical representation. Now tell me the first one, whether it is one-to-one function. First one, one-to-one and not one-to-one, and third one is it's not even a function. So here one-to-one means one element in the set A is giving you one element in set B. But in this case, these two are mapped to one element. So it is not one-to-one. Okay. And here it is not even a function like that I mentioned. So that means according to the definition here previously, only one element of the domain is mapped to any given one element of the range. Okay. So two elements should not point to one element in the range. That is injective or injection. Now we'll see the subjective. A function f a to b is onto. Okay. This is also to be onto or surjective or surjection if and only if its range equal to its codomain. Its range equal to its codomain. Okay. Previously we have seen range is different and codomain is different. Range is only the possible outputs. So range is only the mapped outputs. Codomain is the possible outputs. Now it is becoming equal. The cardinality of the range and codomain is becoming equal in case of surjective. If again the definition, a function f a to b is onto or surjective or surjection if and only if its range is equal to its codomain. For all b belongs to b, capital B, there exists a belongs to a, so that f of a is equal to b. An onto function maps a set A onto over covering the entirety of the set B, not just over the piece of it. So to understand this, let will go for this. Now what could be the first one? Some functions that are not or are not onto their codomains. Here, which one is surjective? So this is onto, but not one-to-one. Okay, because these two elements were pointing to one thing, so it is not one-to-one. Not onto or one-to-one. Both one-to-one and onto. One-to-one, but not onto. So these are the differences. So now the definition of the bijection. Sorry, we'll see the bijection. Previously surjective, right? Now we will see the bijection. A function f is a one-to-one correspondence or a bijection or reversible or invertible if and only if it is both one-to-one and onto. If it is both one-to-one and onto, then we can call it as call that particular function as reversible or invertible or bijection. Right? So first we have seen the definition of function. Then we have moved to the looking at the function with respect to the graphical point of view. Then we have moved on to the one-to-one function. Then surjective, or we can say onto function. Then we are going to the bijections. A function is said to be bijection or reversible or invertible if and only if it is both onto and one-to-one. Clear? Now function composition. For functions g of a to b and f of g b of b to c, there is a special operator called composition. Composition means, we have seen composition in the previous lectures. Composition is the part of relation. Okay, we have seen previously composition is the part of relation, like car has a wheel. Okay, car has engine. So these are the words we have seen. These are the statements we have seen previously for representing the composition. Okay, so composition means a function is part of another function. Okay, f of g of x. Okay, this kind of representation is said to be composition. So for function g a to b, f to b, f is mapping b to c. There is a special operator called composition. It is represented in a symbol called O kind of symbol. Its composition, it composes, or that is creates a new function out of f comma g by applying f to the result of g. So f composition g, that is a to c, where f composition g of a is equal to f of g of a. Note that g of a belongs to b, so f of g of a is defined and also belongs to c. The range of g must be a subset of f's domain. Note that the composition is like Cartesian, but not unlike plus, logical and or union. Okay, is non-commuting. In general, f of g, that is f composition g, is not equal to g composition f. Reverse is not possible. It is just like passing a function to another function as a parameter. Okay, so you have computed sum of two numbers. So int sum of a comma b, written a plus b. Now show sum is another function which is taking integer value. Now show sum of, okay, sum of a comma b. Can I make it like that or not? Can I make it like that? Can I call a function within a, can I send a function as a parameter to other function or not? We can do it, right? This is called function composition. But if I cannot send show some function as a parameter to sum of a comma b, right? So f composition g is allowed, but not g composition f. So both are not same. So this is what the meaning of this function composition. Now function composition here, A, B are the sets. Then so f of here u is equal to g of x. Then you are mapping from the A to B. Then B to C, y is equal to f of u. Then f of g of x that you will get here. And if you want to represent the composition like this, f of g, then this is A to C is the representation. That means g of x is having the mapping from A to B, and f is having the function having mapping from B to C. Then f composition of g will have the mapping from A to C. This is what the meaning. And here is an example in mathematics you might have studied. So f of x is equal to 2x and g of x is equal to x plus 1. Then find f composition g of x if x is equal to 1. Given f of x is equal to 2x, g of x is equal to x plus 1. So f composition g of x is equal to f of g of x. So that is f of x plus 1. Now this x plus 1 will be substituted in the function f of x, because g of x is equal to x plus 1. Now this x plus 1 should be placed in the f. So wherever the x is there in the f of x, that is 2x is there, in place you place x plus 1. Now it will become 2x plus 2 like that, right? So now putting the value x is equal to 1, so f of g of 1 is equal to 2 into 1 plus 1. So thereby you will get the value as 4. So this is in general in mathematics you used to do the same concept here. Now we'll see, so far we have seen the composition. So previously we have seen the function definition, next one-to-one functions, on-to functions, and bijection. Then we have seen the composition of the function. Now we are going to see the inverse of the function. For bijection f a to b, there exists an inverse. There exists an inverse of f written f inverse b to a, which is unique function such that f inverse composition f is equal to identical, that is I. So that means if you look at a is equal to f inverse b, that means f of a, b is equal to f of a. Okay, there is a mapping should be there, and same reverse mapping should also be there in the thing. So given f of x, this we used to do in mathematics. Given f of x is equal to 2x plus 3, find it inverse. So previously we have seen composition to given two functions, f of x is equal to x and g of x is equal to x plus 1. Sorry, f of x is equal to 2x and g of x is equal to x plus 1. That we have seen previously. Now is another example. Let f of x is equal to 2x plus 3 is equal to y. Y is equal to 2x plus 3. Now x is equal to, just you solve for x. So you will get y minus 3 by 2, which is called f inverse. And this is said to be the inverse of f of x. And here are some practice questions for you. Let f and g be the functions from 1, 2, 3, 4 to a, b, c, d. Here the domain is 1, 2, 3, 4 and codomain is a, b, c, d. And from a, b, c, d to 1, 2, 3, 4 respectively with f of 1 is equal to d, f of 2 is equal to c, f of 3 is equal to a, f of 4 is equal to b. Just should draw a diagram, graph representation, and find out is f 1 to 1 and is g 1 to 1, is f onto and g onto, does either f or g have an inverse? If so, find the inverse. So this can be easily solved by making a graph of a, b, and with the mapping, then you can easily say what is, whether it is f 1 to 1 or onto, and F or G have inverse or not. So in this lecture, we have seen the functions, then pictorial representation of function, the difference between relation and function, and we have seen the onto functions, one-to-one function, bijection, then composition of the function, inverse of the function. Okay. So you look at here, it is just like your programming, C programming, what you have done, in which you will write a function and you will pass some parameters. And that function will give you one value as the output, right? So it is just like looking at your mathematical function here, what we have seen here. Is there any chance in the programming that a function can return multiple values? Do you have any idea? Do you have any idea that a function can return multiple values in programming languages? So we can return the multiple values. Returning of multiple values is not possible in C and C++ as well as in Java also. But in Python kind of programming language, we can realize that multiple values can be returned. Okay. In Python programming, if you want multiple values to be written, you will do multiple computations in that, and those computed values or expression resultant values will be placed in a variable, and all those variables will be added to a list, and that list will be returned. So that whenever you take the return value from that particular function, so you are supposed to assign to a list, and you have to iterate the list and get the values. Clear? Is it clear? And this kind of returning of multiple values kind of appearance, you can also see in the programming language such as MATLAB. Okay, a function can return multiple values there also. So a strictly typing languages like C, C++ will not allow the returning of multiple values from the function, but some flexible languages like MATLAB and Python, these kind of things. But anyhow, even though they return them, we feel they get the appearance of the returning of multiple values, but it is returning the values in terms of list only. But if you consider list as a simple data structure, it is a single entity only. That means it is mapping to a single range only. So in that way, it is giving multiple. It is taking multiple inputs, but mapping to one single range. Okay. So this is in this lecture. Finally, to conclude this lecture, we have seen the functions and the various categories of functions, and also we have discussed how in general we'll write the functions in C and C programming, and also we have made a discussion on is it possible to return multiple values from a function in any programming language, and we have seen that C, C++ and Java programming will not allow you to return multiple multiple values from the functions, but you can make it as returning of multiple values from the function by returning the structure in C programming, by returning the object from in the C++, and also by returning the object in Java programming. Right? So we have seen the call by value, call by reference, this kind of parameter passing mechanisms. And whenever you pass by reference, and you may also attach it, you may also attach the structure reference or maybe an object reference, and you can pass it as the return type, so that whenever you call the function, obviously you have to assign to the corresponding data type or corresponding class type or corresponding structure type, either via pointers or maybe either via object in case of Java programming, and you can get multiple values which is there under the object. Okay. Where in case of MATLAB, you can literally see that a function is going to return multiple values. In Python, we may also see like that, but In a complex data structure like list or some other thing, we'll include it and we'll return it. Right? So this is what the discussion of the programming languages and functions. We'll see the induction and cardinality in the next lecture.